We're in a full paradigm shift like we've never seen before. It's disrupting $1 trillion industry.
That's Davide Bianca, co-founder of GRAiL Studio. They're working on making $1 million movies look like $50 million blockbusters, and it's changing everything about how films get made.
We went from a fully rigid pre-pro post to one that's fully iterative. It becomes a very interesting way to produce content at scale because there's so many projects that were deemed unproducible because too risky or too expensive that now all of a sudden we can breathe new life into it.
In this interview, we explore how film crews are shrinking from 3,000 people to just 15, and why movies that studios called impossible are suddenly getting greenlit.
We're not AI purists. At the end of the day, it's really about the story.
From AI on the lot and VP land, this is Inside the AI Studio.
All right, Davide, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell me just kind of a bit more about you and about GRAiL.
Okay, so GRAiL is a next-gen entertainment studio and management company powered by AI. I'm co-founder and chief creative officer. My business partner, Jeff Krelitz, is co-founder and CEO. Essentially, it's a studio with 4 core functions. One is services, so pre-production, production, and post for brands, TV networks, streaming platforms, gaming studios, just all of the across the board. Original and adapted IP. So we have a full slate of series and features and things that we're working on, as well as IP that we've licensed or we've partnered with other creators on. Tech IP, so we have custom proprietary workflows and pipelines, and talent representation. We currently represent 14 of the top 20 generative AI filmmakers in the world, and we're very big in the idea of, it's a management company, it's not an agency, so we're trying to basically create the infrastructure and support layer for what we believe is the next wave of visionary filmmakers of tomorrow that are going to rise out of AI to basically realize themselves as the full version of what they can be. So yeah, we're excited. We're doing a lot of cool stuff.
That's a lot. Well, I guess both from the representation side and the stuff you're producing, how are you seeing sort of the shift change in production, how you're able to get ideas off the ground by harnessing like generative AI?
Well, I think it's interesting because we're in a full paradigm shift like we've never seen before. It's disrupting $1 trillion industry, as we know, in the entertainment industry. It's not slowing down, it's picking up speed. But the interesting fact is that as of 24 months ago, none of this existed. So literally, I think the aha moment was July 2022 when Midjourney released the open beta of their V1. Then the big inflection point was February 23 with Gen 1 and Gen 2 by Runway. And from there on, we've seen the sprint. Like we were joking that basically the past 2 weeks, we've seen more drops in the AI space than the past 2 years combined.
Yeah, last week is crazy.
Yeah. So it's really interesting how it's almost become like a game of stacking. It's really like how you use the tool for what project basically has this type of difficulty. It's kind of like, in a way, kind of re-envisioning the whole pipeline. We went from a fully rigid pre-pro post to one that's fully iterative. So we can liquidly kind of move from pre-production to post. Post is the new pre because you're basically now seeing in pre-production something you can have an emotional response to, and you're able to kind of pivot and iterate and see what's missing, like quickly have something that you can look at and you can immediately feel, okay, that doesn't feel right. Maybe you should try this or that, as opposed to like wait for post and fix it in post. So this has substantially changed the way that we even ideate and do ideation and conception. Because like if I'm using this tech stack and I'm putting together a quick cut to get a sense of the feeling of it, I can immediately tell what's wrong and what's not. And like the idea of reshoots is not completely different. And the idea of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's very, very different way, but in a way it kind of goes back to the indie filmmaking ethos. So we have like a team of like less people, 15 to 20, that are able to ideate and produce a piece of content, whether it's a series, a feature, same way that Fellini would do it, same way that Kubrick would do it, and as opposed to 3,000 people, which is the studio model that has been built on the idea that there's a full, Ford-style assembly line that needs to be fed on this idea. So less influence from the money side of the things, more control from the filmmakers. And again, it really depends on the specifics of the project and how specifically you stack what tool. Is it fully AI? Is it animated? Is it, AI in conjunction with VFX, hybrid live action AI? So it really, at the end of the day, it depends on the story.
You're talking about kind of restructuring like the pipeline of how films are made outside of your management side, because I'm sure those are AI native creators, but on the other aspects that you're doing.
They're not.
Okay, then
the interesting part is that everybody on the roster is somebody that was a traditional filmmaker before, in one way or the other. They can be editors, they can be people that were like directors behind the camera. I like the way that we've kind of cherry picked everyone as part of the GRAiL roster is they need to be good storytellers. So these are in most cases people that have traditional experience in one way, shape, or form, but have fully embraced the tools to lower the barrier of entry and to tell the stories.
Storytelling background that also have harnessed and understand current like AI tools. Okay. Then outside of your kind of services division where you're using like AI for pre-pro, that I'm guessing, are you working with teams, people, filmmakers that like AI is kind of new to them?
Yes, we're working with studios, we're working with brands, we're working with gaming companies, we're working with fashion brands, we're working with advertising agencies. It's like we're working across the board, and each case is very specific to the use case that they need. Like for instance, with TV networks and stream platforms, we're helping them figure out what is the new way of pitching, what is the new way of greenlighting, what is the new way of producing, what is the new way of producing at scale, and is there a new distribution model? With game companies, how do you solve the bottleneck, which is the game needs to be finished before you can actually start putting together marketing assets? So you can now start engaging with the fan base earlier on. Or even like for internal purpose, what is an elevated previs? What is a proof of concept? How do you, get, again, a quick response that is to something that looks like it was final picture lock quality. And then with fashion brands, for instance, say you're a fashion brand, you launch a global campaign, but this very specific pair of sunglasses that your model has may not be selling as well in Southeast Asia as it is in Milan or Paris. Now you can swap that pair of glasses just specifically for that market. Maybe you have a paid partnership with an interior brand as a firm. Like you can swap out the couch for that specific region. So it gives you a level of control and granularity that is not possible otherwise. And there's no reshoots in advertising. So this opens up a whole other, avenue to move at the speed of culture. When a campaign is already live, you can listen to your audience, your fan base, and adjust and course correct accordingly. So this introduces a whole other layer of like doing things efficiently and effectively. As opposed to everything is a photo shoot, even for like a little fragrance.
Right. Bring it back in the studio and reshoot it or shoot it for the first time. What's been the reaction from people like not so like AI is new to them or not so immersed like to seeing the rapid iteration or being able to get ideas out and kind of get these elevated pitch decks or get these edits while they're working in pre-pro?
I think if you come into it with no bias, there's no way that it just won't blow your mind. Because it's just, here's the most efficient tool to quickly go from wouldn't it be cool if to take a look at this. There's a stigma that has, been ballooned by the media industry because the media does what the media does. Like even the Coca-Cola example was like the negative backlash, but the data tells a different story because 5.9 out of 6 scoring, highest performance TV spot in the last 15 years, 98% general consumer adoption. So those are numbers that are through the roof. So again, it depends on who's telling the story and who's spinning it. I think there's a use case for AI and for AI pipelines for just about anyone. Is really about like showing what it can do and finding a more efficient, cost-effective, and rapid way of doing things because the traditional model is broken. So I don't know how many more VFX companies need to shut down before you can prove the point that this is not sustainable. How many shows need to be canceled and movies and plot. We need a more agile and efficient way to do things. And I think this is one that lowers the barrier of entry, so guarantees that more voices are going to be heard. We're not going to get yet another reboot of a reboot or a reboot. So and look, everybody is interested in figuring it out. So really what we're doing is also laying the foundation for the framework of the studio model of tomorrow. How you work with screenwriters, how you work with writers? How do you assemble the new pipeline? Where does VFX stack underneath or on top of AI? What can be done in engine and then augmented with AI? We're not AI purists. At the end of the day, it's really about the story. So it's what technology serves best the story.
Yeah. And how do you see this reshaping the teams? And you're talking about, smaller teams, being able to do more projects, like kind of what do you see the future?
Smaller teams for sure, but this is a trend that's been going on forever. Yeah. Like even within advertising, we've seen in the past 10 years, the tendency to go to boutique and more, nimble type of teams, because when you're small and you're effective, you can move at a speed that a giant organization cannot move at. So you've seen, even the announcement of like Omnicom merging with IPG, it's going to cause probably a 40,000 to 60,000 people displacement in the next 12 to 24 months. That's some significant downsizing that kind of shows you that the model is not performing anymore. And again, they will never be able to catch up if an organization is too big. There's power in being nimble and being agile. And especially in a space like this that scales and speeds up like 10x every 6 months. It's important to be able to stay ahead of the curve and help shape the landscape as opposed to just kind of like sit and wait.
Where do you still feel like the tools are lacking, or like what areas would you kind of want to see more development in?
I think we've seen some tremendous development in the past 30 days. We have a lot of added control. We went from a pure slot machine type of approach to now being able to have hyper-realistic humans, accurate physics, character consistency with multiple characters in a single shot, scene consistency so we can move cameras around. So we're getting there in terms of control to the point that maybe lip sync and performance capture to AI performance is where we need to a little bit more fine tuning. But again, with VO3 coming out last week, that's again a significant leap forward. So I think the tools are advancing at lightning speed, and also the creative partner programs are really helping this space too, because like creators working in tandem with the people that make the tools is a really good and healthy relationship. Getting early access, like, us and all the talent on our roster, and we work directly with the Klings and the Lumas and the runways of the space. I think at the end of the day, what's really important is to still have good stories, because that's what moves you. That's what drives an emotional response. At the end of the day, if the story is good, we can keep on improving on the technology, and how it looks 6 months from now is going to be completely different from today. 6 months ago was unthinkable to be where we are today. But if the stories don't hold, then all you got is pretty pictures. Like, that's not enough to move people emotionally.
Yeah, I see it as a means to an end. Like these are the tools to get.
And that's kind of what we're focusing with GRAiL. Like, we're really focusing on solving production pipelines problems with real products, like real projects with real brands, but real studios, like not just doing tech demos. So
yeah. And have you working in any kind of hybrid approaches? Because talking about the camera the camera control, like I try to do a prompt and it's like, no, I want the camera to go this way. And it's just like, a lot of times we're just like, I just want a shot, and then, to mimic the camera move, but then enhance that with AI.
And again, it depends on what the project is. Mm-hmm. If you're doing a horror movie, I would shoot actors traditionally, do a hyper-condensed 8 to 12 day shoot. Mm-hmm. And then everything that is in the shadows, monsters, creatures, now you have the ability to make it a $1 million movie look like it's a $50 million movie. Mm-hmm. So again, those efficiencies, then if you also take advantage of like tax credits and all that type of stuff, like it becomes a very interesting way to produce content at scale, because there's so many projects that were deemed unproducible because too risky or too expensive, that now all of a sudden we can breathe new life into it, and that's what's really interesting.
Are there any kind of hybrid projects you're working on, like stuff that's blended?
Can't mention what, but we have both features and series in production that are hybrid.
Nice, awesome. Anything here AI on the lot on your radar, or kind of like what you're looking to learn about?
The business panel was really interesting. Jeff, my business partner, was on it. The head of AI from Google, Jamie from Promise. So it was a really interesting panel, diving a little bit more into the business side of things. Because again, we need to move out of research paper mode and get into the real world. So that was interesting. Yeah, but great. Phantom X, Calvin DeKidden and Mike had their own spotlight. It was really interesting. They just released Echo Hunter today. We had the premiere last night. It was awesome. really, really state of the art of like how you actually work with actors. That was the first SAG-AFTRA sanctioned production to be done in AI. Again, we're trying to make things that prove that this is kind of like the way forward, and there's a mean and there's a logic to all of it.
Cool. Where can people find out more about you and GRAiL?
Welcome to GRAiL.com, and then same thing on all socials. Reach out on LinkedIn, Davide Bianca. So yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks, Davide. Appreciate it.
Thank you.